Alrighty, folks, we have to hop in here. Hands have already been drawn. It looks like Provocative is starting us off. This is the uh, lower bracket finals between Provocative and Laurel here. Going to be entirely transparent with y'all. This is a bit of an early start for me. I have not had anything to eat, so commentary might be a bit fast and loose here, but wanted to make sure that we got this live for you all. So Provocative looks like it kept 7. Laurel looks like it kept 6. Um, Provocative winning the die roll. Both players on equal seed, so die roll was necessary to determine who goes first. Players fighting for a seat in the grand finals here. Provocative leading on Inspiring Anarchist. Laurel responding with Slumbering Grove to go find a Wastes. We see Island, we see Nation Light Vein, we see Agent of Deception, Ozon's Blessing, and Alien Pledge. Likely that Agent of Deception is going to be held up here next turn. Interesting for the Island, for the Journey Begins, looks like it was finding a Skull Onyx Weaver, and then just Anarchist here. Very, very likely that we see Agent of Deception held up moving forward here. Deep Life Cavern is a huge pickup. It means this Nation Light Vein can now be used as a red source if needed, off of an extraction mission. Seeker is a big pickup here. Could see Provocative going for the Seeker instead of going for anything else. Would play around the Agent of Deception effectively. Clocking in for another 2. Pretty slow start out of the green Stompy deck here. This is a very different matchup than a lot of what we've seen for these players in their last few matches. I suppose very different matchup than what Provocative has played against in their last few matches. Provocative has had to fight against a lot of control decks to climb out of the lower bracket. Laurel, meanwhile, in the lower finals as a result of losing in the upper finals. But Laurel is the one who knocked Provocative down to the lower bracket. So this is a revenge match for Provocative, as they try and fight for a slot in the finals here. And Skull Onyx Weaver is the play instead of Seeker, getting countered by the Agent of Deception. Untap draws a Primal Fisher, which means that this Nation Light Vein is going to have even more flexibility here. Still a Skull Onyx Weaver, still a Seeker of New Horizons. Grassroots Campaigners is the draw. Nessine Scout Captain going to kind of just have to chill for a little bit here. Going for the Skull again does resolve. No way to copy up this Agent of Deception, but we're going to see Primal Fisher get cracked, and looks like potentially going to be... Okay, getting the Mountain is interesting. I suppose that does track here. You've got the blue and the black source. You've got another island in hand. You could use Light Vein as a black source, as a blue source as a green source, or even a white source if you want to get the Alien Pledge to be on white mana. And I do think, honestly, making white mana for Alien Pledge seems relevant in this matchup. Getting the extra life gain could be really huge, depending. But as it stands, this is a pretty solid start from Laurel. Getting to develop the Unspeaking Titan, stun down the Skull Onyx Weaver here. Skull is going to get to do some value here, but there are no double green pip cards in Provocative's hand at the moment. So not enough to fully leverage where they're at currently. Campaigners is a pretty good draw in the face of another potential land off the top. Could be grabbing Penwrath, Insurgency, and then using Skull Onyx Weaver to put a +1/+1 counter on Aspiring Anarchist. Then could make the land drop, give the countered Anarchist, the one that's 2/2, get +2/+2, and then attacking with both Anarchists can actually do a fun trick where you have the smaller Anarchist copy the larger one's stats to get to become a 4/4, and then have the 4/4 copy the smaller one's stats afterwards to become a 5/5, because it would become a 4/4 with a +1/+1 counter on it. We are seeing a Wastes as the land for turn. Alien Pledge is a sorcery, so really just kind of locked in on either Extraction Mission Flash if something gets picked off, which don't think that's really something that Provocative is in a clean position to be picking off, but in theory, that could be something that happens here. Otherwise, possibly just looking at an Unspeaking Titan activation. We see a Menelea coming down here for Provocative. That is going to put counters on both of these Aspiring Anarchists and then allow them to swing for 3 for that same exact trick of being able to copy each other's current power and toughness and set that to their base power and toughness. That trick with Aspiring Anarchist is just so strong for keeping momentum up. If I'm Laurel, I'm not too overwhelmingly concerned. Oh yeah, +1/+1 counter mode from Skull and Nyxweaver as well. So that's actually gonna be a 3/3 Anarchist. This one can be a 4/4. This one can be a 6/6. That is 10 potential damage here. For Laurel, I have to assume using Unspeaking Titan here to make the Golem token. Got to do that over not wasting the mana. Laurel asking if the math was done right. I would have waited to let Provocative declare the triggers on the stack because there could be some funky math there with... I think Provocative could have missed some of that math. Yeah, could have made this a 2/2 with the +2 counters to be a 4, and then this would have been a 5. So it would have been either 9 or 10. But Provocative says it's they think it's only 8. Laurel says it's only 9 because the first counts the second's buff. If it's 9, then that means that the 10 there was wrong. Anarchist makes my brain hurt. Provocative, you're the one who queued it here. 9 is a feasible outcome here because of how the damage stacks. So it looks like they have gone for the direction of the more favorable path for Laurel here. Laurel making the Golem token, draws the second Alien Pledge. A little awkward to have the second Alien Pledge here, specifically because only the one colorless source for the Unspeaking Titans, but does get to do some very good things here. Can Alien Pledge plus pay the black, sacrifice the Agent of Deception, could even play the Nation Light Vein as a white source to gain the life off of Alien Pledge here. I think I really like that pathway here. Get the 1/1 Unspeaking Titan. Oh, not going to be playing the Nation Light Vein on white. So just paying the 2 mana here, Alien Pledge, going to copy Unspeaking Titan. And then we'll see if she pays for any other modes here. Does not pay for us to each sacrifice a creature. So she is going to pay the mode here, probably sacrificing Agent of Deception. Provocative has a difficult choice to make here. If they sacrifice the Aspiring Anarchist that had the stun counter put on it, they do effectively negate that stun counter, but they do accept that they are losing a 3/3 Aspiring Anarchist. Sacrifices Menelea. Interesting. So this is pretty good, I think, for Laurel here. Gets to play the island afterwards, swing, and tap down the other Anarchist, I think is pretty wise here. As well as pushing 3 damage to the opponent's face. So both of these Anarchists are going to remain tapped going into this next turn. Skull and Nyxweaver is going to be the only creature capable of attacking. Could push out this Golem here. I could see Laurel blocking with this Golem token to avoid too much pain. Notably, if Provocative goes for Silliman Labs off of Grassroots Campaigners to try and tap opposing blockers, Unspeaking Titan makes that really painful. Looks like instead going for an Essene Scout Captain. Provocative declares +1/+1 mode. Doesn't declare another mode? This is 2 green pips. Yeah, it is up 2. So Provocative does not have to choose other modes. I feel like you should choose the trample counter, but did not declare it. So we're going to be moving forward without the keyword counter here. That is, I guess, trample isn't as important. Could choose vigilance counter, I suppose, or even the 1/1 mode to get around another alien pledge edict. Um, but Nessian Scout Captain is going to be able to make this swing for 5 here. And I think in the face of this swinging for 5, I actually much prefer going for the Unspeaking Titan block. Because one of the things I was thinking about, I did not necessarily think about originally, was Unspeaking Titan block here means you can go Extraction Mission next turn for a black, a red, and 1. Make 2 Unspeaking Titans. Tap down 2 opposing creatures, Alien Pledge, tap a 3rd, swing with Unspeaking Titan, tap a 4th. Wow, Laurel takes the damage. I also took 6 here. This should be 5. Oh, no. It is 6 because Nyxweaver gets +1/+1 from the Nessian Scout Captain ability. I really feel like blocking with the Unspeaking Titan token there is correct because... Oh, no. You can't block with Titan token to get the Extraction Mission. Sorry, I'm just bad at that. Laurel says these draws are not it, and packs it up here. Going on to game 2. Some interesting plays there towards the end, but... yeah, really not much that could be said there. Laurel just getting run over by the aggro deck. We have seen this is a winnable matchup for Laurel, though, so don't count our players out yet. I would go and show you their sideboards, but they've sideboarded very fast, so we're hopping right back into game 2. I'm not going to get a break this match. Both players playing pretty quick decks, all things considered. Laurel going to be on the play here. Both players keeping 7. We've had to watch Laurel do some really rough mulligans between the upper finals and the lower finals now as well, with game 1 being on a mull to 6. So nice to see Laurel getting to keep a 7-card hand here. Forest for Slumbering Grove leading us off with Deep Life Cavern, Primal Fissure, Wastes, Unflinching Titan, and Herald of Awakening going to find the mountain. So both 1 of basics are found here. That tells Provocative pretty clearly right out the gate that this is going to be Laurel with all the colors of mana that she could ever need. Anarchist coming down here once again. Going to pass back to Laurel, who draws the Swamp. Going for Primal Fissure, cracking presumably for the island here. Going to go for Herald of Awakening, get the cantrip. Nascent Lightvein, a little awkward. We do not want to see all of these lands coming out on Laurel's side here. Yeah, that's really rough to be having all these lands in hand. Provocative untaps, draws a Yen's Slopeskitter. Can go Forest for Menelea here. Growing Gecko instead. Means we're not going to see an Aspiring Anarchist attack. And this Gecko is now a real extant problem for Laurel to have to deal with. We untap, draw an Unyielding Titan. That is a real plan here if we can get it online. But unfortunately, that Growing Gecko is going to demand interaction. Goes for the Swamp into Unflinching Titan. Surveil 1... puts a Deep Life Caverns into the bin, and could still see the Primal Fissure getting gotten just for the sake of thinning lands out of the deck here. It is going to be the Primal Fissure. And Provocative untaps. And of course, this is the best case scenario for an Anarchist lead. Anarchist into Growing Gecko is 7 damage here. And we are also going to see tap Forest for a Seeker of New Horizons into... land drop Menelea, probably. So this is actually going to be potential 9 damage here. Devastating scenario for Laurel here. This green Stompy deck is just so breakneck, and Provocative getting some very good, specifically getting a very good draw here in game 2. Game 1 was a bit of a slower draw, but Provocative really did get the staying power to outlast the stunning of the Titans. Yep, we're going to see Menelea put counters on each of the attacking creatures, and then ship in for 5. That is a 4/4 Growing Gecko and a 5/5 Aspiring Anarchist. Laurel going for the Herald of Awakening block just to avoid that gecko flip, but is going to take 5. Should take 5 here, I believe. Because, yeah, just 5. Because it is a 4/4 with a +1/+1 counter. Laurel upkeep cracking the Primal Fisher. Gotta find something that's not a land. Herald of Awakening does not quite do it. Needs that Herald to flip in. Oh no, does do it because there's the land drop for turn. Can go Herald of Awakening into an Unyielding Titan, can then block with both of these Titans. But ideally, this Herald of Awakening could draw one of the Stunning Titans instead. One of the Unspeaking Titans. That is probably the ideal scenario here. But Laurel in a really sticky spot already. Just 3 turns out of this green Stompy deck, and already this match is looking really rough. And another Deep Life Cavern draw. Laurel just not getting the luck that she needs here in these finals matches. Going for the Deep Life Cavern, it's going to be the Unyielding Titan here. Take out that Yen's Slopeskidder, probably. Actually, Yen's is a little dangerous of a take because the Grassroots Campaigners with a land drop off the top is the same as the Yen's in terms of momentum, but the Grassroots Campaigners specifically off the top with a land means that can go for Silliman and start tapping down blockers. So Campaigners or Yen's, this is a tough choice. Yen's represents another attacker. Campaigners represents less blockers, potentially. And Campaigners also potentially represents more damage just on the basis of going for Penwrath and then copying the stats from Penwrath with the Aspiring Anarchist. So no matter how you slice it up, this is really, really awkward. And you don't really want to leave Menelaya available either, because if they don't draw a land, well, boil me alive, Laurel says. Yeah, it's a rough hand to be seeing with Unyielding Titan, because Menelaya might be the safest pick, because if they don't draw a land, Menelaya is the thing they almost always play, just to put counters out here and keep a Menelaya activation up. But both of these other cards in hand are really, really miserable to see, especially if Provocative top decks that land. Taking a Campaigners, I think that's probably the safest pick for if Provocative gets to continue keeping their game plan alive. Going for the Unyielding Titan attack, interesting. Does help to develop the mana here. I don't think, in the worst case scenario, I don't think Laurel is dead here, which helps. Keeps top card of the library, gets in for 5, so card that Laurel is drawing is relevant. Ooh, Provocative does draw the land. So taking out the Grassroots Campaigners really relevant here, I think, compared to taking out the Yen Slopeskidder. But either way, really awkward. So now has a choice of Yen's Slopeskidder or the second Menelaya and hold up double Menelaya activation. We're going to see the Yens. So it's going to be a 4/4 Yens most likely, and a 5/5 Aspiring Anarchist. So 4 + 5 + 3 + 3. That's 15 exactly, but we've got to see Laurel block something here. I think Unyielding Titan getting in the way of Yens or Anarchist is probably for the best, but this is rough no matter how you cut it up. At the very least, we do know Laurel did keep card on top from seeing with Unyielding Titan, so could be a very relevant top deck here. Laurel making blocks, knowing what the card on top is going to be. We see Unyielding Titan blocking the Yen Slopeskidder, going to be absorbing the most amount of damage here, going down to 4. As the Anarchist dealing more damage total, but has trample, so would still get to get 2 damage in here. Laurel untaps, draws Extraction Mission. Wait. That's not enough to get through all the way, but could that be enough to buy a turn? We could see draw step extraction mission here. Draw step extraction mission takes out the card in Provocative's hand and takes out the card that Provocative draws, leaves Prov with only the resources currently in play, and with the resources currently in play, 6/3 blocker, a 5/5 blocker can't meaningfully punch through that all that well. Could try and punch through a bit harder by swinging with just the Growing Gecko and the Aspiring Anarchist, but then that leaves Laurel open to just take Unflinching Titan in front of the Gecko and the Unyielding Titan token in front of the Anarchist. Extraction Mission might put Laurel right back in this. I think right now the specific difficult choice is if Laurel had one more mana, could do Extraction Mission X's 7, animate the Slumbering Grove, but that does not necessarily kill here because you swing with the Lumbering Grove, it does not get Trample or Menace or anything to get past the Menelaya. The Herald of Awakening would be able to attack, and you'd have 6 off of the token Unyielding Titan plus 5 plus 2. For a total of 13 damage, plus forcing the Menelaya block, but then you'd be dead on board. So you do have to go for the Extraction Mission on draw step, I think. But the draw step Extraction Mission does make things very favorable. The one downside to the draw step Extraction Mission is it does not let you pay 3 mana to try and make a token copy of Unflinch. Not to make a token copy, to make a 1/1 Golem off of Unflinching Titan. Not sure how relevant that would be per se, but X's 4 on the Extraction Mission would be 5 mana, then 2 more left over. It's the exact reason why I couldn't go for the Slumbering Grove line anyways, but I think the Grove line would be a trap anyhow. So holding up this Extraction Mission for the draw step seems to be the best line in the current circumstance. Could be an argument for instead trying to go for Herald of Awakening, but I think you do just need the larger bodies to deal with the Anarchists and whatnot, and you also want the hand attack from Unyielding Titan to remove top decks from the equation. And with the Extraction Mission on top, I think that explains a lot of why the Yen's block was correct there. Absorb the most amount of damage, give yourself the most amount of life to work with, get the Yens off the board, which is the thing that could do the most with 4 open mana and no cards in hand. Now, the only way that Provocative will have to spend mana next turn is Menelaya activations, which takes power off of Provocative's board. So I kind of like where Laurel's sitting. It's a scary position to be in, but Laurel calls the draw step stop. So we're going to get to see the Extraction Mission. And Laurel is not out of this yet. Looks like Provocative pausing here, probably having to take a moment to wonder what the draw step stop could be, but knowing Extraction Mission from Laurel's deck, the Unyielding Titan is a safe guess, I think. After the draw, Provocative clarifies that is the draw step stop, because you can't get priority before the player draws a card on draw step. That would have to be during the upkeep. Another Menelaya drawn for Provocative, and we're going to see the Extraction Mission flashed in here with that blue mana. Getting 2 Unyielding Titans. This one is temporary through to this next combat, but both of these Menelayas are going to be exiled. Laurel does say eat the hand. And attacking as Provocative here is really awkward because this Unyielding Titan is temporary anyways. Laurel has no reason to keep it around. So blocking with this thing is extra safe. And if I'm Provocative, I don't know how to process this attack now. You can force some blocks, try and get in some damage, but if you swing with everything, you do force the Herald of Awakening block most likely, but if you force the Herald of Awakening block, you probably are doing so in exchange for... Oh, wow. Not going for any attacks whatsoever, just moving the second main, holding up the blockers now. So the Unyielding Titan token is gone. Because it is end of combat. So it gets destroyed on second main, and then Provocative just passing the turn. Laurel time walking the aggro deck. Oh, worst possible draw here is another land, and Redeveloped Cityscape at least could try and thin the deck out of more basics, but really not what we were hoping to see here after that stellar draw there from Laurel and that great sequence on her part. Really just needed something to back it up, and Cityscape is not going to cut it in that regard. Getting aggressive here is going to cost Laurel the last 4 points of life, I think, because Provocative can just safely take 11 if the need arises. You're going to see Cityscape played and pass. Suddenly, Laurel went from potentially back in the driver's seat to one lands draw was all it needed to be put right back in an awkward spot. Grassroots Campaigners is the draw. Not going to be able to tap things down immediately, but could go for Silliman Labs to try tapping things down in future turns. Provocative moving to combat first. It's going to be Growing Gecko and Aspiring Anarchist, just like it would have been in the prior turn. So Growing Gecko is going to make both of them +1/+1. Anarchist is going to get a +1/+1 buff while being a 4/4, so it's going to be a 5/5 and a 4/4 swinging in here. If I'm Laurel, I like Unyielding Titan blocking the Aspiring Anarchist, Unflinching Titan in front of the Growing Gecko. Force Provocative to rip counters off of both of these creatures. You do lose the Unyielding Titan, but you can tap both Titans to make 2 1/1s before damage. You force the Aspiring Anarchist back down to being a base stat 1/1. You force the Growing Gecko back down to being a base stat 2/2. And if Provocative goes for those activations, this Campaigners is going to sit in hand for a little bit. And makes you a lot more comfortable if you draw another extraction mission. And this is a matchup where you have all 4 available to you, potentially, if you haven't boarded any out. So we're seeing, Unflinching Titan blocking the Aspiring Anarchist. So offering the trade if Provocative does not opt to burn the counter. And yeah, gonna lose the Herald of Awakening, lose the Unflinching Titan, but keep the Unyielding Titan. And make these golems. And we're going to see Grassroots Campaigners here. What will it be? Provocative taking a moment to think. I think especially losing your Trampler, you got to go Silliman. Yeah, Silliman Labs. So, game's looking rather sketchy, but Laurel is still in it after all. Deep Life Cavern or Nascent Light Veins the pitch. It's going to be the Cavern getting pitched here. Going to find Forest and Swamp. Draws an Unflinching Titan. Unflinching Titan can actually be meaningful here for specifically getting back this Cityscape, trying to thin out more basics next turn. Bins a Cityscape. Could do, is going to get back the Cityscape instead of the Primal Fisher here. Does not need the untapped mana next turn. Would much rather thin 2 basics out on her upkeep. And Forest is the land for turn. Probably going to be pitching Actually, I kind of like developing the wastes here so you can hold an Ancient Light Vein for trying to get white mana, because I think at this point, if you find Alien Pledge, you really want to be able to pay white mana to try and gain some life here. We're going to see an attack for 6. I don't know how I feel about this attack. You do have to apply some pressure, but at this point, 4 life against 4 attackers. Silman Labs activation, tap the Unflinching Titan, and then, yeah. Oh, that attack loses the game. Yeah, that attack loses the game because now Provocative can just activate Silman Labs for 4, tap the Unflinching Titan, and 1 plus any of these 3/3s kills. Yen Slopeskidder also could get it done here. We will see if Provocative goes for it, if Provocative recognizes the lethal out here. Provocative paying 4. Silman Labs for the Unflinching Titan. I think Provocative sees the kill. And Laurel with 2 lands in hand can't do anything about it. Laurel asking if it's going to get a +1/+1 counter. Perhaps in lower stakes circumstances, it would be worth messing around and giving that counter, but Provocative saying, don't think so. Yeah, the lower bracket finals, Provocative up a game and potentially sealing up game 2 here. Better to not take any risks going to combat. Laurel concedes before even seeing the attackers, just sees the writing on the wall. Really, really rough draws for Laurel. Unfortunate sequence of events to see happen for her. Very, very well fought through the world's bracket as a whole, though. A lot of respect is owed to Laurel for the skill that she got to show with this deck, the deck building prowess to assemble a deck like this and make it really all come together and sing, and to fight through some really, really rough matchups in the upper bracket to make it all the way to upper finals. Unfortunate that she had the unlucky streak that she did in the 2 finals matches we got to spectate of her. But very, very fun to get to watch her play regardless, and congratulations to Provocative on making it to our grand finals match up against Stasis Bot. Let's go ahead and pivot on over to the bracket here. Just a moment. We now have our grand finals. So it is Stasis versus Provocative. Bant mid-range. Let's get this more perfect centered on the screen here. Let's scrunch like this, maybe? Yeah. So, Stasis on Bant Builder, Bant mid-range, up against Provocative on Mono Green Stompy. This was a matchup I believe Stasis was hoping for these grand finals. So, if I'm Stasis, I'm probably feeling very thrilled about seeing this matchup be what's coming into the grand finals here. But I would not count Provocative out by any means. We have seen an incredible climb back from Provocative against some very, very rough, grindy matchups, and Stasis's deck is different. I would not say no different, but Stasis' deck is a very grindy deck. So we could see Provocative push through with a lot of powerful damage. We could see Stasis push through with the high value threats on offer here. No matter which way things shake up here, there's going to be a very, very tense grand finals, I suspect. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing the end result. 2 Revolution designers also here in the grand finals. Stasis, of course, the designer of Cliques of Nylon, where we get things like redeveloped Cityscape, Silman District, and Severin Sparkmind, and Provocative, the designer of the new and upcoming Kitsuo Dusk of Time, rotating in May 1st. Very eager to see how this finals match shakes out. If you are as excited as I am, stay tuned, folks, because that video should be up next. And if you're interested to find out more about Kitsuo Dusk of Time, or its companion set joining in, rotating in May, which is Errors in the Weft, the first part of my review is up now, time card in the top right, and I am currently underway scripting the second half of that review as we speak. So lots more excitement to come. Can't wait to see how this grand finals match plays out, and I look forward to covering it here with all of you. Until then, I'll see you all in the Revolution chat. Take care.